This is a meeting of the Salem County Improvement Authority. It's Monday, May 20th, 5 p.m. We're located in the lower level of the Finwell building. Please stand and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Excuse me. Notice of this meeting has been provided to the public in accordance with New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act by publication in the South Jersey Times, formerly Sunday, the Elmer Times newspaper circulated in Salem County, by posting notice in the Salem County Clerk's office. Copies of the board minutes and a video of this meeting are posted at SCIA.com. We have a roll call, please.
John Uber.
Here.
Ron Howard.
Here.
Pete Burrows. Lee Schneider.
Here.
Bob Winfield.
Here. Okay. We have behind tab 1 the minutes, the meeting of April 22nd. Entertain a motion to...
So moved.
Move. Second. Move second. Any questions on the motion? Move second. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Solid Waste Division Manager's Report behind tab 2.
Good evening, everyone. You have my written divisional report in front of you. You also have the wonderful charts in front of you. I just want to point out something on the revenue landfill tonnage per month chart, which I believe is the first chart that we would come to. I'm hoping it is. Is it? Yeah. Look at that lovely spike going up there. Isn't that wonderful? Revenue is coming up. We're very happy about that, aren't we, Dave? You were just talking about that. Also, obviously, the landfill tonnage per month is going up too, which is a good thing. Leachate's coming down a little bit. June and July is our drier months. We're happy about that, aren't we, Ryan? Any questions about the charts or the statistical report or the written report that I've given you?
Yeah, I see the spike the other way and cover rather than...
You would. Stop looking at it.
Can't make that
I'm going to take a question from anybody else but you, John. Anyone else have a question?
What's the cover account? Is there a special account or is that what you call interest?
No, that's a company that wants to bring solid waste and cover. They get a separate account for a cover material because we don't charge tax on that. So we keep it in a separate account. So some of our customers have both accounts.
So he brings in cover?
Mm-hmm. Slightly contaminated cover material?
And you pay him?
No, he pays us. Mm-hmm.
And how do you keep somebody 120 days all the time? Are they just...
Well,
Is
in
there
that
interest,
particular,
I
you're
guess?
talking about Del Monte, correct?
Well,
In that
yeah,
particular,
there's a
well,
lot of
that
them.
Del Monte particular customer did not realize they had a second account. That is paid in full now. The check was received
This is
actually.
full?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said, well, how can you not know you have two accounts? Off the radar screen with Del Monte. Del Monte is a very interesting customer anyway. We can talk about that. They're challenging. Mm-hmm. Any other questions from anyone else?
We do charge interest.
We charge interest on overdue accounts? Yes.
Over 90 or
Over 45.
45?
Mhm.
Is there a point where we don't take their trash if they're not paid and they get the 90 days, we say no more trash, do you pay us? Or?
Well, there are some customers who their account gets closed and they're not allowed to bring anything until they give us money, yes.
What point do they get to? How many days?
Depends on the
delinquent?
customer. We have different customers that we deal with.
There's no set number.
No.
If they're continuing to pay, it's unlikely that we would completely shut them off. Although
don't
we
know
do
if we
have some that
can.
go stale, in which case then we send it to Adam for collections. But most of these guys, between him and Masari, they're the usual two that are behind.
I see that one that we don't have any information on, the application, I guess, apparently we don't have a phone number, we don't have...
Which one's that? The one that's 510 card that we sent to Adam?
Yeah.
That's in it for
Well,
collections.
sent a letter return, a letter phone number files not in customer's account. What kind of application do we get? I mean, do we get spouse, business, home phone, cell phone, email, we get...
At the time this account was opened, which has been several years ago, you get the basic, we don't ask for their spouse's number. we ask for the company number, their cell phone number, and any information we can get from them. But the phone that was given to us by them, which is years ago, remember, that's somebody else's phone number now, and the address was undeliverable. So then at that point, we can't collect because we can't get in touch with them, so now we give it to Adam.
Yeah,
So that's 5 county carding, that goes to Adam.
I was in the collection business, so I'm.
Okay, well then you know all about
But my
that.
question would be, do we, in an effort, if you're an ongoing customer, you're delinquent, is there any updating of addresses and stuff on an ongoing basis? Once you establish it, 12 years later, that phone number that we had is the number we still think they're at. I mean, there's no,
Yeah,
there's no.
otherwise how would we know that they changed it if they didn't let us know?
Well,
Are you
Review an
suggesting that we
application.
count, that we call these people ongoing to get
No, I'm thinking
updated
maybe
phone
there's a-
numbers?
I know, I get information from time to time saying, we need to update your information.
Yep,
You know,
There's DEP numbers that you should have.
yes, we do.
and do we do DMV when it?
Well, one thing you gotta look at, it's unbelievable to me that we don't have more trouble collecting than we do.
Yeah, there's not a lot of.
I mean, we're down to, those two were from back in SCIA days.
Percentage of collection is really.
When I come on, there was one bad one, took us about a year to get him up. And we're talking about nickels and dimes. I wish in my business it was like that.
But he doesn't have, he's got nothing to go on here, we don't,
Yeah, well,
You talking to me?
yeah.
No, for 5 county, I filed that complaint, I pulled their, registered agent information off the, New Jersey Gateway website, so hopefully that's still, valid, I mean, that's a whole nother issue, but, so far so good, in fact, I just got a default date today.
The tier 3 and tier 4 generator, is
With the baler. Our air inspector, or air quality inspector wants us to get a tier 4 generator. There isn't any on the East Coast. We do have an alternative as far as buying one, but we can't rent one. There's none to be rented.
You know, his request is a demand or a request?
Her, it's a
Hers.
she. She's more concerned about the NOx emissions being 0.9 than anything else, and the only thing that we can get that will prove that the NOx emissions are within her standards are tier 4. There's no tier 3, even with this retrofit filter kit that you can put on there, that's gonna get it down to the 0.9 that she wants. So there was an email this past week that basically said, she said, I'm not really pushing you to get a tier 4 as much as to get a generator that fits into the NOx emission standards. Well,
But a tier
it's a
4
catch-22.
fits.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? So,
maybe that could be the answer to our deal with our fine.
well, that's been in discussion, John, but she doesn't allow us to do anything for ourselves. Cannot have anything to do for us. It has to be somebody
Yeah, I
else.
understand.
That's a whole, we've been going back and forth with that with her for a while.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we're still running the tier 3 rented generator, looking to either purchase something that is a tier 4 or the 0.9 NOx emissions so that we can continue that. We can't bail every day anyway, we don't have the manpower. So,
So
very limited.
what's that net cost to us if we have to get a tier 4?
buy one,
Yeah.
it's about 60,000.
You have to bail an awful lot of stuff to get that.
Which wasn't, factored into the cost.
Yeah, I didn't put that in the mix because I never thought that a rental generator was gonna be a problem. Never considered that to be a problem. And it's only a problem with
So
her.
what's her authority to demand that?
She's the DEP air quality inspector that oversees our facility and our air
So
quality
are
permit.
we violating something?
Enforcement.
Although she hasn't really gone there, it's because she knows we're doing a pilot project. So she's being a little cautious, but just reminding us that we need to look at this.
I understand.
So it's
but
kind of hard
are
to buy something
we- Are
when
we
it's
in
not
danger
available.
of being violative of some statute?
Could we be? Sure. But
I'm
we're
hoping
not
she doesn't
at
go
this
there.
point in time, because there's no readily available, best available control technology available anywhere on the East Coast.
So we're not.
So the equipment, the
We've
equipment
done-
people,
Our due diligence.
So that's an affirmative defense. if
Yeah.
you don't
yeah,
know.
the equipment
attempted-
people say to me, how can they demand that you have something that's not even available for you to purchase?
That's
Or
where I'm
rent.
going. You know what I mean?
And so I sent that email to her, so she understands that, you know.
Yeah, that's
hard to get
where I'm
something.
going.
So now we got a bail with it, we can't do anything with it.
No, we're bailing, we bail
Yeah.
twice a week as manpower permits, and we're using the rental generator to do it. I don't have enough men, because it's not a primary function of the landfill, so that's a secondary thing. So as we have an extra person, that doesn't need to be running another piece of equipment, like a Tuesday and a Thursday, then we'll run the baler. And we can, the most bales we can get is 5 bales a day. That's the most that we can do. And the baler is doing everything that it's supposed to. That's average. Yeah.
When we contemplated it, we said it would be a fill-in
This
thing.
needed job.
Yeah, it's not something that we're gonna accomplish overnight. And I don't even wanna start looking at quotes for pennies on the pound to have the material going out until I have 100 bales.
How much are they a pound? How many?
I've gotten, well, I'm on number 19, I have 19 vendors on the list now,
No, how much is the bale weigh?
2,300 pounds.
2,000 pounds, how many fit on a truck? What's the cube?
And a shipping container, about 20 to 22 now, because of the weight.
Yeah, 40,000.
It would have been 40 to 44 if they were 1,000-pound bales. And the prices that I've been hearing are anywhere between 1/2 cent and 8 cents a pound, but it's gonna be closer to 2 to 3, because the ground mulch film and the drip tape are being baled together, we can't separate that.
Yeah.
It's not as
All
good a
right, so the point
quality.
is, we're ready for a load now, roughly.
Oh, I have more than a load, but I don't wanna get a quote until I have 100 bales.
Oh, I see, so you have 5 loads. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How often does this lady visit us?
She pops in,
She says it's not a scheduled.
never, they don't have to, they're not required to.
Well, I know that, I just like to meet somebody that would ask you to do something.
Once,
that's not-
once a year, once every 8 months maybe, we haven't seen her for several months.
We'll worry about that next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not worried
Bail a
about
lot
it.
before then.
No.
And we keep
Next
this
thing on the
communications
agenda.
information.
Yeah, I'm
so
talking to her by email or phone often.
It's not like a big surprise.
No.
And I thought it
And
should
we
cover
have
up
a
more.
very good, we have a good working relationship. It's not a,
No, I just want to meet somebody that would ask for something that's not available, I just want to see, get a picture in my mind.
okay.
Okay. Any other,
Oh.
yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, if I could, Melinda, have you having discussions with folks that own the port about recycling, bailing plastic?
No,
Or bailing recyclable plastic?
No.
feeds?
no, I have not. Well, I did, I back up. I did have a conversation on the phone with someone, and they wanted to come and take it off my hands for free. And I said, no, actually, no. Well, I was told that you wanted to get rid of it. No, I don't know who told you that, but no, we're not getting rid of it. I'm actually going to
We
be.
want to get rid of it for a price.
He said, if you want to pay me some pennies on the pound, I will put you on the list to quote. Oh, no, 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 we're not going to pay you anything. I'm like, okay. That was my conversation. Okay?
Okay, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Without objection, I'll order the report received and filed, hearing no objections, so ordered. Where are we at here? Approval of the, okay, engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe the board has our report dated May 14th. I don't have anything else to add, so if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Tank, where are we at with the tank?
Tank is covered in the report. We should be ready to go out to bid by the end of the month.
Okay, progress on the cell, are we calling it these things?
Cell 9,
Okay.
the plan is that as soon as we get the tank wrapped up, we're going to jump on those plans and get those going.
So our goal is to bid early fall,
That's to be discussed, but later in the year, certainly.
in order to get
Right.
the bids in the
So
fall.
they get the bids in, get it awarded, and be ready to go as soon as the weather permits in the
March
spring.
1st, yeah, okay.
Did you do the topo survey?
No, we did not.
Well, that's Sickles, and that's been completed.
I saw it was done, but I didn't see it on this list.
Yeah.
You have another engineer for that.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, without objection, I'll order the report received and filed. Hearing none. I heard none. So ordered. Okay, solid waste division bills. Okay. Resolution here. We have bills of $241,000 by check, $54,000 for electronic payments, manual check of $4673.86. What was that?
That was the manual check that needed to go, excuse me, up to the state, which should be attached, and I see that it's not here. I will make sure you get a copy of that.
Okay, what are you?
That was for the, SLT tax, I think. Let me double check.
Oh,
Go ahead and I'll get it for you.
Okay. Okay, I made a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We have a question. Any other questions? Hearing none, 30? Okay, the move and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we'll, without objection, we'll get that checked. Okay. Next, Economic Development Division. Economic Development Manager Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, business development meetings and some of them, the update on the water tower. Okay, as of last week, the person is Lou Albert Design and Integration Inc. They have now contracted Dewberry Professional Engineers to prepare the site plans for the proposed radio communications. So I assumed that was already done, but it's not been. Now they're looking for these CAD drawings, which I saw today. The CAD drawings that finally went over to the engineer. So I don't have any kind of a time schedule on that yet, whether they'll get the radio antennas up for it. So and then that still has to have to do a site visit survey, including FAA certification, lease exhibit if needed, construction and electrical drawings, and structural calculations.
So is it working or not?
No, it's not. So I don't know where that is.
That was about a year, right?
It's a little over a year, close to 2 years now, I
Hey,
think.
you get them guys up there with semaphores
Yeah.
there. but-
Yeah, you get the old semaphore flags, yeah. So, did have a meeting with our consultant, strategic plan meeting. Debbie, myself, and Phil sat down, reviewed that, and that is now underway for everything to put together. So for the focus groups that we were talking about, some contacts and letters will be going out to businesses, small, medium, and large. And we will have some focus groups. We plan on having 3 different meetings and getting their feedback on what's going on. So and if they have any problems or their successes, everything, so we'll have that, and that will include the freeholder, as we talked to freeholder fans last week too, so, or last month. Other than that, energy program, we met with our energy partners in the Cogen prospect, which you and Debbie brought up the last time when we met with freeholders. I don't think we've heard anything back with that, but that'll be further future discussions with them whether, we'll do a cogen at the facility, the management facility.
How about regional transportation?
Regional,
It's been the same report for the last,
Well,
I don't know.
yeah, it's kind of, we're waiting on some financial information from the owner right now. It's a new owner of the regional transportation project. It's kind of confidential at this point. Has to do with a little flyby airport, okay? So we're looking at something whether we feasible to be looking at some kind of transportation project out there. So we met, as you can see, with the RDA
Every
and
month?
the new owner.
You meet them every month?
No,
Okay, so it's a meeting held.
being held with the RDA. And we're waiting additional financial information from the owner, so we're looking at the balance sheet for that. And what he's been doing with it, what expenses he's put out there, and, what's cost, in touch with his attorney. And that's what they're working with, yeah. The only other thing, in there is the, New Jersey RAP. We're still working with that too. They've kind of went to a different location right now, and curious as to why Freeholder Cross asked about the recycling at the port. If may I ask that question?
Somebody brought it up from the port and said, hey, we're gonna be looking at, and I said, our landfill was already doing it, so you might wanna talk to them.
Okay. Good.
Everybody has dreams about sending that stuff, and
Yeah.
it never happens. But,
Yeah.
gotta listen.
Give it a try.
Yeah. So, okay. No, it was just a question why you, but I said,
And
we're kind of aware
they
of
asked
it.
if they had, if I may, Chair, if they were aware that we had a facility at the
Mhm.
county, and they said they weren't, so I thought maybe you guys,
No. Don't
they
think
asked
were.
when you guys are willing to sit.
Yeah,
We
the
have some
destination perhaps for some of that stuff is Brazil. But the trouble is, they can't pay anything for it, the cost of transportation. Eats up the
Outweigh.
Yeah, so that was the intended project anyway. Okay, that's my report. Anybody?
I have a
Yes.
query.
Mhm.
This is a marketing campaign. Now, marketing is a very iffy thing. You can never put your finger on results. But this outfit that does your marketing campaign, what do we pay them for their expertise?
Paying by whatever ad they design for us right now.
Design an ad. Then it says marketing advertising will possibly expand it for a regional campaign.
Yes.
So I think where do we do our advertising? I mean, I've seen it in paper, our own paper.
That's where we've been now. We're looking at it right now as to whether to go online with it, and there's a few online New Jersey bids, New Jersey online, NewJersey.com rather, I'm sorry. And there's also a magazine in New Jersey Business, so we're waiting on the pricing on that, but we'll go to bid. We've researched probably, I mean, I think it was about 8 or 10.
There's about 10 of them on the
Yeah,
list.
about 10 on one of the list. Very expensive to put it out regionally.
So in all the ads that we ran last year in the paper, did we get a dozen hits? We get 2 dozen hits? We get no hits
We probably got about a dozen hits on the microloan and everything, yes.
on the micro
On the
level?
microloan project, yeah. We had some inquiries on the bonding.
And part of the reason we were looking at a regional approach is, since we work with Greater Philadelphia, there was about 2 dozen inquiries in the South Jersey area for medium to large-sized businesses. And so the thought there was whether or not a more regional push might further that along, or whether the existing efforts that are being done through Matrix with Gateway, through DRVA with their business park, or through Greater Philly is sufficient to bring those opportunities to us. Obviously, you know,
First
plus-
off, there isn't enough money in Salem County to put a proper advertising campaign on.
That's right.
It's impossible. I just happened to spend the last week in Naples, Florida, and I landed at the airport, and I grabbed the paper. Hertz Rent-A-Car moving to Naples, or actually moving to Lee County, which is Fort Myers. And big time down there, they're moving out of Bergen County, and they're 700 people. And it's the biggest, it'll be the biggest company has ever relocated into Lee County or Hollywood County, Collier County. This is a big deal. I was with my nephew and all, I haven't done her. So, boy, they were bragging about why they're coming here. I said, probably the guy lives here, you know? It's all,
When do the employees find out how much it costs to live there?
now, the next day, the guy who's president of Hertz has 2 condos in Naples. Why did he pick Naples? Because he wanted to be close to his house. But the point is, you could never hit all the potential movement. The movement that you do hit and is reasonable is in the region, Philadelphia. You'll catch somebody moving out of Philadelphia and you can afford to put something there. The only advertising you can afford is free advertising. If something happens now, Lee County down there, is in the New York Times and all that. Let's say was moving. That kind of stuff is you get for free. You know, you try to put ads. I remember years ago you used to put ads in the Wall Street Journal. It was horrendous. I mean, you might be able to afford an ad like that and no one ever read it. You know?
I was wondering which firm did that one, that marketing campaign?
Marco Promotions.
This here one here?
Well, Marco Promotions did the display. The firm,
That's
the
not
firm
a
that did our
campaign.
brochure, this is all off of the brochure, so that's the firm that actually did the mock-up and everything.
Yeah, I know I've talked to you about it before, but you really should have marketing that shows cars coming into Salem and
Well, you know what, when I had my meeting with him, I did tell him that.
not going out like that.
Yeah.
Driving to Delaware is your marketing.
Yeah. So, I did mention it to him when I had my meeting.
Yeah, we have never really put on a, well,
The bridge
ad campaign.
on the back cover is coming back.
Beyond belief. And then you're going to catch some advertisement, free advertisement, if someone moves here and it's noticed in the paper. But you're going to catch somebody, you're going to catch them in Camden or maybe Delaware, and they might come to Delaware, and Philly, you might get some. Oh, whatever. Any more on the,
Any other questions?
because hearing none, without objection, I'll order
Thank
the report received and filed. Here are no objections, so ordered. Where we at here? Bills. Resolution 31?
Yes.
31. We have bills of $4,216 by check and $17,066 by electronic payment. Entertain a motion to pay the bills.
What was the first amount you said?
Second.
The first amount you said?
4,216.
Let's see that.
Economic
You're
development.
in the wrong.
I'm on the next page.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this.
Don't skip ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at $1,167 and nothing by electronic.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Move the second, all, any questions? Move the second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Man, I'm up to next page, 31, yeah, hold on. Okay, the next page is the nursing home. We have 30 seconds on nursing home.
Sure. The bills relative to the nursing home, you'll see further in my report, I'll give you a breakdown. Working with the Lancaster Group, we've been very successful in the appeal of the audits from 2006 and 2010. So we have some professional fees in the amount of $4,216.25 due to them. The electronic payment is $17,066.85 is to state health benefits for the retiree health care, which is being reimbursed through the county.
Entertain a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
Moving second, any question on the motion? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I'll pose this to the director, I guess, is the payment of the bill getting more timely or status quo?
Status quo.
Okay,
That's good. We get it by the end of the month when it's due,
gotcha,
so.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, executive committee, I'll combine with the economic development. We have some bites on the, what do you call it, the industrial park. They want to submit to us a agreement to, not to divulge who they are and all. We'll see, it's the first step. Hopefully, get something from them in the next week or two. And could be something. As we discussed last meeting, or at least I mentioned, that the industrial park at exit 10, Logan Township, is filling up. I know it because I'm looking for space there, and it's there, but the prices are up. Price is up 10–15% in 1 year. So that indicates, well, I know it indicates they're full. So, by the way, they're expanding that a little bit. There's some locations around the periphery that are being developed. But the point is, I think that's a signal that people will be looking down the pike, So, keep our fingers crossed, and, the people that actually own the ground over there, what's the name of it? I always forget their name. Matrix, which is the public service people, one of them. They're pretty adept at landing people, so hopefully we might see something there. Whatever. Now, how do they get to us? Advertising, who knows? Matrix, who knows? But one of the things that we might think about if we're going to do any advertising is just mail outs to that industrial park there. Cheap. And I'll catch one, yeah. And for $1,000 or so, you might be able to do something there. And I think that there are going to be people in there, I know they're in there, looking for space, so that might be something to help us. We're concerned about our revenue. Our landfill revenue seems to be pretty near on board where we anticipated. In fact, might have spiked up a little bit. We anticipated a $1 million increase for the year. Right now, we're 1/3 of the way through the year, we're over 300 and some thousand, so you multiply that by 3. And once it's 3, I got 2 hands, at least $7 million if everything goes. Our cost of cover is a little high, but who knows, that's cyclical. You could get a big job next month and cover that. So our revenue seems good. All in all, we're 1/3 of the way through the year, we're on board to end up where we anticipated.
With a lot of hard work.
Oh, yeah, no question about that.
I mean,
Yeah. But you gotta plan it out. Remember, we planned this last year, it was this didn't happen this week.
right.
More than a year ago, we laid out the idea, so, but whatever, so, that covers those two. Personnel committee report. Anything?
There's no committee report.
Okay. Here's what I would suggest, it's come to mind that we're gonna have someone retire in the, operations department. And I would suggest that we get our personnel committee, and Bob, I don't know if you'd be willing to serve, to assist the personnel committee on looking into the, job description. See if the job description is good, should it be expanded perhaps. One thing you mentioned, and I registered when you mentioned it, we've always tried to get our employees to do more work instead of hiring outside consultants. No offense, boys. But perhaps we should look into possibly getting someone with some more credentials that might be able to do some of that. Maybe some.
Yeah, my question was that whether anyone on site.
Well, obviously.
Nobody's interested in that on site.
Actually, we did have someone come forward on Friday.
All right, well, hold on.
Yeah,
Go
there's
through the
just,
process.
I think step one is
To let you know.
to set up
Decide what it is we need.
set up the requirement. We have plenty of time. Set up the requirement, okay? See what it is. Once we determine that, then we obviously will give our employees the first crack at it. They put requirements. So, Bob, you willing to work on that project?
yes.
With Ron.
I saw that you had, you're putting an ad with AEA. You're not a member of that, are you?
Yes, we are.
Are you?
And we're not at the point where we put any ads out yet. We're just contemplating what.
If you're in AEA?
Yes, we are.
When was that?
But, you know.
Excuse me?
When did you get into that?
This year, beginning of this year.
I was a director until I retired, so I knew you weren't in it.
I know. We contemplated doing it last year, but they're an annual fee and they won't prorate it, so
Yeah, it's
I
part of
think
the
by
budget.
like September of last year, we said we'll just wait till the following year.
So that makes sense. In other words, get the primer set up first. And
Sure.
then we get that, and then once we get the parameters, and we get a budget and go forward.
Did I read, I think I did, that the new person, or the person that does it now, has a car that they take home with them every night? It's used for when they're called in?
For emergency response purposes.
How many times in the course of the year are they called back in when they leave work to come back?
More than we would like, honestly.
5?
Oh,
Yes?
good Lord, no.
How much
I
would you
would
say?
say probably over the course of a year, 30 times at least.
Oh, probably more. I've had 3 just in the last 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
3 times.
What kind of callback?
It's for the auto dialer for the flare or the leachate or the high condensate level.
So they have a car for the use of the back and forth work.
Not to go to the candy store.
Is there any monitoring of that whatsoever?
Meaning GPS monitoring? We don't have remote
No,
GPS
no,
monitoring.
You know,
We have a policy.
you know,
That
I
prohibits
got
it
30
to
trips
use.
to and from, and we know where the person lives, we know how far it is to work.
We watch the mileage on the vehicle, but yes, we do entrust Lynn to follow our policies and look for reports of the vehicle being in Cape May when it shouldn't be in Cape May, type of things. But, yeah, That vehicle pretty much goes to Pennsville.
But there's, it's not like 3 times a year, you're saying,
Oh.
3 times in a week.
Yeah, in a weekend.
The commercial type?
No,
Or
they're truck,
county tax.
county tax,
County tax.
government tax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
And
our
it's
name, name well
Emergency
displayed.
response vehicle.
And we take it off site for other trips,
Oh, yeah.
things we have to do, okay.
Oh, sure. We have 2 pickups, one's on site and one's off site. The on site one does go off occasionally, Melinda, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, what's occurred to me, maybe, well, will be coming up. That second pickup, why wouldn't we get a little flatbed rather than a pickup size flatbed? Would that make sense? What?
Possibly, we have a 1 ton that we could use in the same way, though.
Yeah. The reason I said I just went by D-Hart, they had a whole bunch of them out there. And I looked, I said, whatever.
Probably
That's
cost more
that's
than,
another.
cost more than what we.
Yeah,
Well, no,
I get
it's
the cost.
cheaper than a pickup. Yeah, but whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, they're cheaper. Yeah, just get a little pickup. Okay.
Well, also, in personnel, we did hire summer help, and they're only gonna be here for 11 weeks. What else I think we get a financial,
Finance officer.
right, assistant financial officer. And we're still working on reviewing the policies, which is almost done.
Reading pleasure.
Okay. So, any other questions? Okay, without objection, I'll order those verbal reports filed, received and filed. No objections, so ordered. Okay, what's the next one? Solid Waste Division.
The leachate will be published in June for the tank, purchase of the tank. We're buying a couple pickups, a John Deere loader, and a lawnmower. We're meeting with Sam with the leachate problem Wednesday,
This Wednesday, yeah, Thursday, 23rd.
Thursday?
Yeah. What time is that again?
9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll be able to put that to bed, everybody understands the importance for everybody when they're moving that forward. And we're filling in with the cell 8 and we're planning for cell 9.
Okay, any questions? Hearing none, without objection, order the report received and filed, so ordered. Innovation and technology,
Well, I'm, you know, what you read here is what I know.
That's about what's here right now, except for today's events.
So, I don't.
I'll tell you right, on all the time with communications, we had a semaphore guy on top of the,
All the POs have been issued and the orders are being placed.
by the way, I'm ordering, the reason I'm doing it, what's my mind, I'm ordering for my house, I'm ordering, what do you call that, the Dish Network. Because I had that for my television, I had it for 15 years. I got Verizon for my computer, but it's so slow, I'm gonna try that Dish Network, see if it works.
We'll see.
I'll report on it, believe me. Okay, what else? Thank you, Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Behind tab 6 is my report that you had. I'd like to highlight a couple of items here. We are winding down the appeal process of the audits from 2006 and 2010 for the nursing home Medicaid, Medicare audits. Originally, the amount due back to Golden was $267,608.55. We've negotiated and appealed down to a total of $133,901.83. We've done the analysis of how much of that would be attributed to ownership of the nursing home prior to August of 2009, when it was in the county's ownership. How much of it is attributed to the month of August 2009, when we had 14 days owned by the county and 15 days owned by the Improvement Authority, and how much of it is due to a SCIA operation after August of 2009. Those balances are, as they stand right now, $89,581.82, which includes half of the month of August for the county, and $44,320.01 to SCIA. There are 2 appeals still being filed that we're waiting for a decision on from the federal government. And once we have them, we will be sending out a letter both to Golden and also to the county to set up a meeting to determine how best to reconcile these due balances. Right now, that amount of money has been withheld from Golden's reimbursement. That's how that works. There's no check that Golden has had to send to Medicaid, they just withhold it from current reimbursements.
They sent a check already.
Yeah, a debited check, yeah. For the press, we had not, I did check this morning, we received the May bill for reimbursement for state health benefits. I expect it'll probably be here by the end of the month, because I think you guys do it on the third meeting.
Okay.
We also submitted the $20,000 lease payment bill to the Freeholder Board. Those are typically due in June. That's for the bonding and administration. I did receive a call from the county auditor that said the county may be looking to pay less than that $20,000 this year, based on a calculation that was done. I did remind her that that was a flat fee agreement for the balance of the correctional facility. She said she would look into that and get back with me on that.
Yeah, let me interject there. If they want to do that, then we go back to the beginning. And because it was higher at the beginning, I had no, this is years ago, I wondered how it happened. They averaged it for the whole year instead of having it. It was much higher at the beginning, much lower at the end. So for the county's benefit, they averaged it. Well, now it's getting on the low side. I don't want to go back to the other method.
Just a couple of other items relative to the solid waste division. You've heard most of the report. The 2013 topographical survey was completed and submitted to DEP. We are awaiting any comments from them. They will typically then send the bill to us for that review process. And then we also have the Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting set up for May 30th at 6:30 p.m. here in this room. We have sent notices to all of the SWAC committee members, and in order to be judicious, the solicitor recommended we do a public notice for that meeting as well. So that will be.
How many notices did you send out?
Everybody that's on SWAC, and there's
How many?
16.
16 is all?
Yeah, one for every county, or one for every municipality, plus 2 in Salem City for some reason.
Right, each ward.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Any feedback?
I did get a call on Friday from Upper Pittsgrove, and their SWAC member asking for some background history relative to solid waste plan amendments, how it works, and what the nature of the requirement was for flow control. And, I expect we'll have a healthy discussion come the meeting, given that, this is not a SWAC that meets every year or every month or anything like that. So they'll have some catch up as to what their role is and what flow control is all about, and, what their opinion is going to be relative to the advice that they can give to the Freeholder Board.
Pittsgrove would join in and we would no need for it. No need.
It cost us too much to join. It cost us too much to join.
Really?
There was an offer made that would, pretty attractive offer last year.
Pretty attractive, but it still is the labor, hauling labor,
It
instead of 19 miles or whatever it is to.
No.
neutralized that cost.
We neutralized it. That's not true.
We offered to haul
It
it
is
for
not
them.
true. Not true.
So they choose
We
Cumberland.
gave it to
Yeah,
them.
Pittsgrove is this D in the county of Cumberland. We are in Cumberland, really. I mean, we're wrapped all around the Cumberland.
Take it
It's
into
on our border
consideration.
edges.
You took it into consideration. We offered to do the hauling.
You offered to do the hauling?
Yes.
And to buy their truck.
And to
right?
buy their truck off them. Yes.
Had a conversation with Du Bois recently. Wanted to know, anyway.
I got an old-fashioned iron machine. I can count pretty good. And when we went in to make the offer, we know what their costs are pretty near. Yeah. So when we made the offer, we said we got to neutralize their costs. Okay, and we hope to do that. So,
I think they'll be here to object to that portion.
yeah. I think we should be prepared to show that offer, because we made it in writing. We'll be prepared to show that.
Should we say?
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah.
When I talked to Linda, she said that they had a counteroffer. And then I asked Debbie about, had she seen the counteroffer? And she said she has not seen a counteroffer, but then Linda said that perhaps it got lost in the shuffle and that it never really got back to us. So that's where we are. So they had a counteroffer. Nobody's seen it.
That'll be very simple, tell them to put a stamp on it. Yes, yeah, give it to us and, yeah, give it to us and,
Put a stamp on it.
yeah, get it over to us and we'll certainly respond, yeah.
I'm not in that part, so.
Yeah,
But I know
because,
that they go to Cumberland and proximity. and-
oh,
I
yeah,
recognize they go to Cumberland.
yeah. Well, you know, we went with the,
Hence why-
offer, you know,
And the flow control is just for the solid waste, not recycles.
Correct.
Recycles.
Can't, can't apply to recycles.
and really, once we get that done, we should be looking at the recyclables, because there's no question that we could do the recycle for all the county entities cheaper than each one does.
Are you separate?
Pardon? Then, look at the problem
Collection.
and put it together, maybe separate it, maybe not. You know, separation is going, you know, pretty soon, probably the whole United States is gonna be one barrel, you know, one bin per curb. Not even, you know, Europe's all that now, they put their whole, everything in one can. In the United States, there's gonna be 2 cans. Probably many places are gonna be 1 can. So that separation, as you well know, the labor is horrendous, and the smaller you are, the more labor. And no one knows, I'll bet you there's no municipality knows what their costs are. I see them taking a little dump truck load of tin cans up to Cannon, driving up there with 2 guys sitting in the truck, you know what I mean? They get $10 for the cans and cost them $200 to drive it up there. You know, I'm exaggerating, but not too much. You know, but whatever, that's another story.
Just a couple of other things real quick. Just on the technology front, we have issued purchase orders for PC Network and all the equipment to be purchased, and we're waiting for delivery of that. Comcast will be here tomorrow to drop our service into the building, and we do have the shared service agreement in draft with the community college. That is in your packet. That did not get out to you electronically in advance of the meeting. I apologize for that. We were having internet problems come Friday and today as well. And then the last thing, there's no further update on the regional sewer project. That's still at a dormant stage right now. Budget 2013 is completed and on the website. Audit 2012, we're waiting on our final exit conference. And as reported, the interns are now on board. Most of them will start on Tuesday of next week, although we did have 2 of them start today.
But the audit, you're awaiting exit conference?
The exit conference.
That's not in yet, or it's not
No, the exit
finalized?
conference is, no, we have not had our exit conference or the draft yet.
Should be a week or
There's no
so.
penalties on that, is there?
No.
There's 4 months. 4 months from the end of the fiscal year.
I bet it will be the first.
No, you wouldn't be.
Huh? You don't think that?
No.
You think there's some done?
Sure. You're right.
If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Cumberland always has it.
At any rate,
Yeah, there was an analytical lab bids were all rejected for technical
Yes.
efficiency. What was that?
The numbers of quotes that were provided, it was pretty clear that none of the 3 labs read the updated specification from when we put it out to bid before. And they underquoted by 20 samples because of our new monitoring requirements. So we rejected all the bids and we're putting them back out with a new table so that they can't make a mathematical error and they have to read it. We did it.
They withdrew.
No, they did not withdraw. We rejected. We will be rejecting officially here.
that's it. Any questions of the executive director? Hearing none, I'll order the report received and filed. Hearing no objections, so ordered. What's next?
New business.
New business. Okay, resolution authorizing application recycling grant for the year 2012. That is not a misprint. That's a reimbursement of what we spent last year. Tucker. Terminology.
Yeah, it's a
That's
reimbursement for 2011,
But it's the grant for
but
12.
it's the grant for 2012.
Right.
It's not a FICA.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Move to second, any question on the motion? Hearing none, move to second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, resolution accepting Delcor permit limits. Want to give us?
Yeah, we do, Delcor is a public entity, so it's technically a shared service agreement, but we do have a permit for the disposal of our leachate. That permit was a 5-year permit and it is now expired. They offered us another permit. Very, very minor modifications on the parameters and the limits. They were kind enough to increase our arsenic limit on this permit, given the monitoring that we've done for them and the additional parameters that we've had tested for relative to arsenic. So we recommend that this be another 5-year permit and ask for your approval on it.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
Move to second, any question on the motion?
What's the arsenic level? Is it serious?
No, but it was extremely low in the old permit. So I would say in dry months, we would see that our arsenic levels went above the permit level. And then they required, I think, 3 samples to be collected after that. So we'd have to always go into this additional sampling. And then out of those 3 samples, we wouldn't have a level because we'd have some rain and it would further dilute it.
Any other questions? Okay, moved and second, I believe, moved and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Resolution authorizing shared service agreement with Salem Community College. You want to withhold, you want to move that or not?
I'd like to move it. I can give you the gist of it. It is going to be subject to legal approval, by both entities.
So the
relative to
document
insurance.
is finished
The
as?
document is finished as far as we're concerned at this
Okay.
point in time.
Okay.
It does call, just, in the interest of total disclosure, a 5-year agreement from June 1st of this year to May 31st, 2018, which 5 years is pretty normal for a shared service agreement. It'll give us access in a secured manner through their fiber network and allow a particular lease of space. And it does call for a $300 per month payment to the community college for that lease.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Back up. At one point, wasn't it gonna be an in-kind thing, and then what happened?
It was
How
gonna
did we
be
get
about
this
$1 a year. We had several discussions with the county college relative to this, and they are still very open to $1 a year just for the rental space. However, we also had discussions with them that we are going to need some of the services of their IT manager in order to locate our antenna and dial into their network. And should there be an outage at the county's college's end, we have to have somebody there that we can talk to. So this is a very modest expense for any kind of network access. And this is a price that we feel is a fair compensation to them for any of the time for their IT manager to be compensated.
So 12 times $300 for how many times you think you're gonna use them?
No, that's per month,
A
period.
month,
Yeah.
12 in a year, 12 months in a year. That's a pretty good expense per year for, we were at $1 a year, now we're 12 times 300.
Better than nothing. Which is an
And that's for a
additional-
guy that we may or may not use in the course of the year.
We definitely will use them while we're doing the network reconfiguration.
And we couldn't hire him on an hourly basis? It'd be a lot less than that?
Under shared service agreement, I don't think you want to get into paying them per hour. If you'd like me to try and renegotiate that lower, I'm happy to have that discussion, but it's in my opinion, based on what we've seen from other IT,
Yeah, that's good.
and compared to what we're paying the county right now, that's very fair.
Oh. What was it, County?
$3,800 a month.
And any other company would be the same? Any commercial company would be the same?
Well, basically, they were using their line.
Yep.
And that-
But
so,
we do anticipate, as much as we like to believe that everything's gonna be perfect, we are gonna have some outages and we need somebody to pick up that phone.
You have to connect
24/7.
each end.
Mhm.
That's our people?
Yes, we're doing all the
PCN?
equipment, we're doing all the
PCN?
connections, PCN, yeah. They have a router issue going on at the main campus, we need to know that.
and I'll report on Dish Network.
I think we don't have that.
Madam Director, in paragraph number 5, you might wanna correct the Salem Communist College.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Dale.
Maybe not.
They might-
That's a good proofreader there.
The
Thank you.
machines will do it every time.
In terms of work. Put that in there, see if you're looking.
Put some stuff in
I
there.
love spell check, but you know,
Yeah.
It is a word.
We're still looking for a second on this.
Oh,
Second.
yeah.
All right, got a second?
Okay, move to second. Question on the motion, I guess that's where we are.
Continue.
So we're through the questions.
Send the angry.
Any other questions? Then move to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Where we at?
motions.
Purchase of the 2 trucks. Okay, there are 2 pickup trucks. How old are the old ones?
We have one that is a 2005, we have one that is a 1997.
Motion approved?
Move.
Second.
Any questions? I have a question. That's through the state
This is the state contract.
purchase
Yes,
price. Is there a Ford 150? Is that right?
that's correct.
We're getting 2 trucks,
2 pickup trucks, one's 4-wheel drive, I think.
Both of them.
and both trucks total $17,000?
No, 17,000
Each.
each, 17,600 each.
Okay, it just says 2 Ford, state contract, 17,250 on this. Okay.
What are we doing with the old ones?
The old ones will be taken out of service and put into surplus for gov deals. We only have so many drivers,
Now, the truck,
and they're not worth maintaining.
one truck just stays on, goes up top of the hill, back down, that type of thing.
And some local errands, yeah.
And that thing, the tires go every other week, and that's.
That's the 97.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. No thought to getting one and using the 2005 as that truck?
Passing it down, Lynn?
Yep.
Yeah, passing them down.
Yeah.
The 2005 is actually being passed down to replace a much older version too. And then the oldest one gets surplus
Okay, the 2005 is still gonna be,
on the landfill, now
Okay.
replacing another one, so. 2 will be surplus and 2 will be purchased.
Okay, so we move to second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Purchase of the Dixie chopper, 14.9. How wide is that thing?
36 inch.
Huh?
36-inch cut.
36 inch?
that's it?
That's why the model number is what it is.
Oh,
I thought it was that.
14.9?
That's-
30